Hi everyone, it's Zoe from Book Reviews with Zoe, and today's video is an unhaul video because we're moving house. So let's see how many books I can unhaul. So I finished unhauling and this is the big file. Let's see how many books and what I'm getting rid of. So, of those books, there's 70 of them that I'm going to unhaul, and let's get into the books that I'm going to unhaul. This unhaul is going to be no particular order because they're all over the place, but let's get into it. So, the first one I'm going to be unhauling is Heather the Totally by Matthew Weiner. This book I DNF'd, it was bloody awful, and glad to get rid of it. Yeah. Next book I'm unhauling is Top End Girl by Miranda Tutzel. I really enjoyed it at the time, but I'm not going to reread it, so. The next pile. Straight On Till Morning, A Twisted Tale, not going to reread. Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, not going to reread. Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, I enjoyed, not going to reread. The same with The Well of Ascensions by Brandon Sanderson, not going to reread, so why keep it? Next pile, The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Read this, okay. Am I going to finish this series? Probably not. Then The Polar Bear Express by Alex Bell. Really love this middle grade, but I'm not going to reread it, and I think it should be out in the universe to read. And then the next one is The Old Sisters, another Disney villain story. I'm not going to reread it. And this one I have not read, but I'm probably never going to read it, which is Waiting for the Albino Dunk Knot, How Birds Can Change Your Life. No interest. Came in a mystery box, so don't care. The next three books all came in a book grocer mystery box that I have not read these books, and I never really will. So one of them is The Death of Robin Hood, Heroes of Legends Forever by Angus Donald. This is apparently book 12 in a series, so I'm not going to read the other books before I get to this one. Then the next one is The Love of the Game. It's about football. Not going to really read it. And this one I am 100% definitely not going to read. The Truth About Fat. Really? Could have gone, like, I don't know, with a better title maybe. Right, next lot is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I enjoyed. Am I going to reread it? Probably not. Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World by Ashley Herring Blake. I really enjoyed this and absolutely adore it, and I think this book should be out in the world for more people to read. The Grandest Bookshop in the World by Amelia Meller. The same thing, really good middle grade, needs to be out in the world. And then I've got The Last Wish by Andrzej Gurskowski, which is the Wisher series. Enjoy, and I'm probably not going to reread it. And then a book series that I've DNF'd, which is Witch Shadow by Susan Dennett. I am not going to finish the series, even though I've only got one more book in this series. I'm not going to finish it. Right, the next lot is Wonderscape by Jennifer Bell, another really good middle grade that should be out in the world. Then I've got The Second Empress by Michelle Moran. Boring as fuck, I don't really care. And The Artemis Vow by Ian Koffler. I enjoyed it at the time. I've read this book, but I've never finished the series, and I probably never will. And then Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I enjoyed this series. However, I'm not going to reread these because they're just contemporary romances. So, right, next pile is Outlander by Diana Gambledon, which is book 1 in the Outlander series. I've read it. It was okay. Am I going to continue this series? No, because all these books are like a whopping 1,000 pages long, and the TV series is slightly better. So, yep. Next one is another one of the Witcher series, which is Sword of Destiny. Same thing. I'm not going to reread it. This one is called Restless Souls by Dan Sheehan. I have not read it, have no interest in reading it, so I'm unhauling it. And the same with this. Your Superstar Brain by Kaja Mondonson. These are books that came from a book gross mystery box, and not really interested. And then this one I have a double of, so I'm unhauling it, which is Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan. They're slowly getting there. A Whole New World, another Twisted Tale. Read it, not going to reread it. We have Only Killers and Thieves by Paul Howarth. This I have not read. It was in a book grocer mystery box, and I'm probably not going to ever read it. Scapegoat, A History of Blaming Everyone. I read it, not going to reread it. This one I read, The Swords of Gods and Men by Susan Kurtzgen, which is the Valhalla Saga book 1. I've read it, not going to continue this series. And the last one is The Claimant by Paul Terry. I'm not going to read this, so I'm unhauling it. 3 more piles to go. Yes. A Lovely and Terrible Thing by Chris Wamsley. I read this, unhauled it. Spirit Bound by Rochelle Mead, which is Vampire Academy. I've read it. Not going to attempt to reread this series for the 3rd time, because I'm finally finishing the series. The same thing. Once Upon a Dream, I'm not going to reread. So This Is Love, A Twisted Tale, also not going to reread. And A Part of Your World, another Twisted Tale, I'm not going to reread. Right, next pile of books. Grace After Henry by Catherine Shortwell. I just finished this for Pokemon. It was sad, really sad. And I don't want to ever think about this book ever again. The next one is Love Was Tear Us Apart by Holly Seddon. Another book that I read from Book Gross Mystery Box, and it was pretty crap. And Old as Time, A Twisted Tale. Another one I've read and not going to reread. And the controversial one is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This book is overhyped and ridiculously stupid. That's my opinion, and I'm unhauling it. Next pile. I'm unhauling The Royal Kings by Jen Lyon. I really enjoyed this. However, I'm probably not going to finish this series, so I might as well unhaul it. Born in Africa by Martin Meredith. Really interesting book, but I'm going to unhaul it. Cold Storage by David Cooper. Never go look at mushrooms quite ever again, and I'm unhauling it. The Floating Theatre by Marta Conwell. Unhauling it. It Ends With Us by Colin Hoover. DNF'd, unhauling it, and this book should be burned because it's awful. The next pile, I have 2 more after this pile, but it might take me a while. But let's get into it. Frostbite by Rochelle Mead. Same, read, unhauled, and I'm glad I'm finally finishing this series. Next one is Heaven and Hell by John Kilman Stephenson. Translated, it was interesting, but I won't reread it. Sarong Party Girls by Cheryl Lu Tan. I read it. It was interesting. Not going to reread. Shadow Kiss. Unhauling. The Agathas by Kathleen Gleason and Lee Lawson. Read it. Unhauling. Right. Second last lot, I think. Hopefully. A Grave Man by David Roberts. Read. Unhauling. Blood Promise. Read. Unhauling. Force of Nature by Jane Harper. Read it. Unhauling. Serpent and Dove by... Who is this by? Shelby Mahone. Unhauling. And read. The Hidden by Mary Chaplin. Read. Unhauling. Reflection, Twisted Tale. Read. Unhauled. Last pile. Yes. I am unhauling the Hemsworth Effect by James Weir. Read it. Unhauling. I am also unhauling Blood Elves by Tracy Skransky, Witcher series. Read. Unhauled. Probably not going to reread. One of my all-time favourite books. I'm reading Unhauling Saving Missy by Beth Moray, because this book was very unique. I am unhauling House of Names by Colin Tubin. I'm unhauling Turning the Tide on Plastic. Interesting book. Unhaul. Service Dogs by Maria Goddard. Bloody weird, boring, and unhauling. 16 Souls by Rosie Talbot. I absolutely adored this book, and it needs to be read by more people out in the world. William Golding's book, Close Quarters. Read it. Unhauling. Death in Summer. Read it. Unhauled. Daisy Jones and the Six. Loved it. Unhauling. And the last book of Unhauling is The Hero of Ages by Brenda Sanderson. Read. Unhauled. And the consequences of this unhaul is a very messy pile on the floor. So that's my unhaul of like 70 books. And most of these, and pretty much all of these books, will be either going to free libraries or the op shop. And hopefully I get to unhaul them before we actually have to move house. But that's my unhaul. Like this video, subscribe to this channel for more Utter Chaos, and I'll see you all whatever I post next.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.